Known as the strongest woman in the world, Chun Li has been a staple in video game lore for over 25 years. Now you can play as this world warrior in your next campaign. Round 1, fight! Hi everyone, I'm Daniel Martinez and welcome to another episode of Pop D&D, the show where I teach you how to take your favorite pop culture characters and turn them into D&D adventurers. Continuing with Women's History Month, I wanted to include a character that was not only groundbreaking in how powerful she was in the early 90s as a woman, but also as a person of color. With Chun Li, we get both of these combined, and we get an amazing character and our very first fighter character in Dungeons & Dragons. Chun Li first debuted in 1991's Street Fighter II, and has since gone on to appear in 30 different video games, as well as 2 feature-length live-action films. Fighters are your traditional brutes in Dungeons & Dragons. If you're into shooting first and asking questions later, then this is the class for you. The fighter class works for one of the longest lasting characters in Street Fighter based on the name alone, but it also works for Chun Li as a character who can dish out as much damage as she can take as well. Now for Chun Li's race, I went back and forth on 2 possibilities. I definitely wanted to push the fact that she's the strongest woman in the world, so I was very much considering a half-orc for the longest time. However, after talking this out with myself and with some of my friends who've played the game more often than I have, I decided to go with a wood elf because in Street Fighter II, she's actually the fastest character in the game, which was perfect for this sort of balance. Now with a fighter, we want to make sure we have a lot of HP because you're going to be really getting into a lot of the action, which is again perfect for a video game character as you've already got that health meter. So our 15 we're going to go ahead and put into Constitution. From there, you can choose whether you want to put your 14 into either Strength or Dexterity. Because we're getting a +2 from choosing a wood elf as her race, we're going to put it into Dexterity and put the 13 under Strength. The remaining abilities we're going to put under Charisma, Wisdom, and Intelligence in that order. You'll get a number of skill proficiencies with your character, but the ones that I felt were the most important for Chun Li were Athletics, Acrobatics, and Survival. Coming back around to that HP meter, for your HP, you're going to be getting a 10 to start out with, plus your Constitution modifier. 2 in this case gives us a total of 12. Your hit die is going to be a 10 as well. I haven't talked that much about the hit die that often, but with a fighter, since you're going to be that active, this is a great chance to do it. Your hit die, along with determining how much HP you're going to get per level, is also going to determine how much you can regain during a short rest. However, you'll only get 1 per level you have in the game. Now with a fighter, you're going to have access to all armor and shields, as well as both simple and martial weapons. For the sake of Chun Li, we're going to give her padded armor since we never see her in any sort of heavy, bulky armor, the way you would with an M. Bison. Another thing that a fighter chooses is a fighting style, and you also gain a second wind. A fighting style gives you damage proficiencies with certain aspects of the way you fight. In the case of Chun Li, we're going to choose dueling. We're going with this because Street Fighter is a one-on-one competition, but the way it plays out in the game has to do more with dueling as far as weapons are concerned. Now, since Chun Li is going to be fighting, let's talk about her weaponry. I'm going to go ahead and give her a Great Axe. A Great Axe is brutal, simple, and effective. In this case, it's going to get a D8 as its damage die, and you're going to have a +1 for both your attack and your hit. But as we've seen in the video games, Chun Li doesn't tend to use weapons so much as she uses her unarmed strike. For your unarmed strike, it's going to be a +1 to attack and hit, and we're going to go ahead and use a D6 for damage. We're going to play this in with the fact that she's the strongest woman in the world, so that's going to up us from a normal D4 that you would use for an unarmed strike. And of course, as we've seen in the video games, Chun Li has a number of trademark moves, most notable which is her lightning kicks. So what we'll do is we'll add a once per encounter ability for her. Think of this as spell casting for a wizard. Once you've used that spell, you can't reuse it until you've taken a short or long rest. So to start out, we're going to use the lightning kick. For this, you're going to use your dexterity as your attack bonus. So it's a +3 whenever you roll your D20. If it hits, we're going to let you roll your D4 3 times and add your strength modifier. So that's a minimum of 4 to 13 damage with that attack. But remember, it's only once per encounter, so make sure you're using it at the right moment. So that's it for Chun Li. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this, please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and leave a comment below letting me know if you play this character and what other characters you want to see in a future episode of Pop D&D. Also, let me know what your favorite Street Fighter character is. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time, but until then, roll initiative.